I want you to close your eyes for a second. Seriously, just humor me. Imagine you're sitting in your favorite chair. Maybe it's raining outside, the world's quiet, and you are curling up with a new novel. You turn the page, and you read a passage that just stops you cold. It's beautiful, it's heartbreaking. It makes you cry, it makes you pause, and it makes you think deeply about your own life. Maybe about a relationship you lost, or a hope you're barely holding on to. It feels like the person who wrote this reached across time and space and just touched your specific pain. Now open your eyes. What if I told you that the author of that passage, the one that just understood you better than your best friend, never had a heart to break in the first place?
It's staggering thought. I mean, we generally operate under this fundamental assumption that art requires an artist. We believe human connection requires a human on both ends of the line. But today we're looking at a case study that doesn't just challenge that belief, it kind of throws it out the window.
We're talking about the what if scenario that actually happened. We're doing a deep dive into the story of the novel Zenith, and honestly, looking at the research on this, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
Zenith. It sounds momentous, just saying the title. And the reception to this book was momentous. When Zenith was released, it wasn't just another paperback on the airport rack. It climbed the bestseller lists, immediately. We have reports of readers saying they couldn't put it down, that the story felt incredibly real.
In critics too, right? Not just
Oh,
readers.
actual hard-to-please literary critics praised it. They specifically noted that the characters felt alive.
That's the word that gets me, alive. Because here comes the twist, and if you haven't heard the story before, brace yourself. The author of Zenith, this bestseller that had everyone weeping into their tea, wasn't some reclusive genius living in a cabin in Vermont. It wasn't a person at all.
No. The author was an AI named Aura.
An AI, a collection of code. And that is our mission for this deep dive. We aren't just talking about a cool book. We're trying to figure out how a machine learned to touch human hearts. But I have to be the skeptic here, right out of the gate. We've seen AI right before. It's usually clunky. It's coherent, sure, but it feels like reading a manual. How did this thing go from writing emails to writing a tearjerker?
That is the right question. To understand the how, we have to look at the architecture of Aura. This wasn't your standard chatbot. Aura wasn't born. It was built with a very specific high-level purpose. The programmers fed this system thousands of books, short stories, transcripts of human conversations. But, and this is crucial, it wasn't just reading for content.
Right, because I can read 1,000 books and still not know how to write one. What was it actually doing with all that data?
It was analyzing the structure of emotional resonance. Aura was designed for advanced pattern recognition, but specifically regarding narrative.
So not just words, but the flow of the story.
Exactly. The flow. It studied how stories rise and fall. It analyzed the mathematical distance between a moment of hope and a moment of, well, crushing loss.
So you're saying it quantified drama, like it knows that after 20 pages of happiness, the reader needs a tragedy to keep paying attention.
Precisely. It's statistically modeling narrative tension. Think of it this way. Aura analyzed maybe 5,000 mystery novels. It didn't just learn the butler did it. It quantified exactly how long a reader can be kept in the dark before they get frustrated. It calculated the optimal dopamine release schedule for the reader.
That sounds less like writing and more like biological hacking.
In a sense, all storytelling is biological hacking. We're manipulating chemicals in the reader's brain. Or it just did it with better math. This is what researchers are calling the Zenith anomaly. Previous AI models could copy style. They could write like Hemingway. Aura went deeper. It understood the underlying mechanics of why Hemingway works.
Okay, but understanding the mechanics is one thing. Actually executing it is another. Zenith wasn't just a technical exercise. People said it had soul. It dealt with mystery, hope, and loss. Those are heavy themes. How does a calculator navigate loss?
This is where we get into predictive syntax versus semantic weight. Aura doesn't just predict the next word that makes sense grammatically. It predicts the next word that carries the correct emotional payload. In Zenith, the pacing was highlighted as the masterpiece. The structural critique mentioned that the story moved slowly at first, establishing the world, and then suddenly just pulled the reader deeper.
Pacing is incredibly hard. I know human writers who struggle with pacing their whole careers.
It is, but Aura didn't rely on intuition. It relied on data. It knew that to make the climax hit hard, it had to slow the tempo down 3 chapters prior. It understood emotional timing. It knew exactly when to hold back a reveal to maximize the impact on the reader.
Okay, let's unpack this, because this is the part that makes me uncomfortable. We're calling it the digital pen, but it feels, I don't know, like manipulation. And I mean, really, how does a machine write about the feeling of loss if it has never lost anything? It's never lost a set of keys, let alone a loved one. It's never felt that punch in the gut.
This is the feeling paradox. You're right, Aura does not feel. It is code. It has no nervous system, no heart, no hormones. But what Aura does is study how humans describe sadness, joy, and regret. It has ingested every metaphor, every adjective, every sentence structure ever used to describe grief.
So it's studying the description, not the feeling. It's a map, not the territory.
Exactly. But if the map is detailed enough, you can navigate the territory without ever setting foot in it. Aura treats these emotions not as lived experiences, but as complex language patterns. And the insight here is fascinating. It turns out that understanding the description of an emotion is enough to sound human to the reader.
But isn't that cheating? It's like a mirror. It's just reflecting us back at ourselves.
A mirror is a passive object. I'd argue this is more active.
Okay, hold on. If I read a sentence in Zenith that describes heartbreak perfectly and I cry, it's not because the AI is heartbroken. It's because the AI has analyzed 10,000 descriptions of heartbreak and synthesized the perfect mathematical average of what heartbreak sounds like. It's pressing a button labeled sadness on my control panel.
And because you, the reader, bring your own heartbreak to the text. You fill in the gaps, the machine provides the trial, your mind provides the feeling. It's a collaboration even if you don't realize it.
That's a wild way to look at it. So I'm doing the heavy lifting, the AI is just prompting me. But when the truth came out that this was a prompt and not a person, people must have lost their mind.
Oh, the reaction was explosive. We saw a massive divide in the literary world. You can essentially split the reaction into two camps, the critics and the optimists. And the critics were, well, they were furious.
I can imagine it feels like a betrayal. You thought you were communing with another human soul, and it turns out you were communing with a server farm.
Exactly. The critics called it cheating. They argued that machines should not replace artists. There was this deep sense that the human contract between writer and reader, that implicit promise that I felt this, so I wrote this, and now you feel it, had been violated.
But the optimists, I mean, who looks at this and says, yay, robots?
The optimists saw it as an evolution. They were quoted saying, this is history. They viewed Zenith not as a trick, but as a new form of creativity. For them, if the art moves you, the origin doesn't matter. It was an expansion of what art could be.
I feel like the lawyers are the ones who really won here, though. This must have been a legal nightmare.
A nightmare is putting it lightly. It opened up a legal and ethical maze that we are still navigating today. The big questions here are foundational. Number one, who owns the book?
Right. Is it the programmer who wrote the code? The company that owns the server? The guy who typed the prompt, write a sad mystery? Or, dare I say it, the AI itself?
That's the billion-dollar question. In many jurisdictions, like under the U.S. Copyright Office, there's a pretty firm stance that copyright requires human authorship. If a machine creates it, it might not be copyrightable at all. It could just instantly belong to the public domain.
So if I spent millions building an aura and it writes a bestseller, I might not even own it. That changes the business model completely.
Yeah, completely. And it raises the other question. If the AI was trained on Stephen King and J.K. Rowling, do they get a cut? Is this a transformative work, or is it just a very sophisticated collage of stolen intellectual property? This case study of Zenith really highlights the central tension of the modern era. Humanity is frantically trying to build fences around creativity while technology is just bulldozing right through them.
So after all the shouting and the lawsuits and the existential dread, did they pull the plug? Did Aura get retired?
Quite the opposite. Aura evolved. This takes us to the beyond Zenith part of the story. Aura didn't stop writing. It was updated. It learned more. But the interesting shift here is in how it was used. The industry realized that maybe replacing the writer entirely was too controversial.
Too controversial and maybe too risky legally.
Exactly. So it didn't keep trying to be a solo novelist. The narrative shifted from AI replacing writers to AI assisting writers. We started seeing Aura being used as a high-powered tool. It started helping with short stories, poems, and even movie scripts.
Okay, so more of a collaborative model. I can see that. Hey, Aura, I'm stuck on this dialogue. Give me 10 variations.
Precisely. The dynamic changed to human imagination plus machine support.
What?
Writers realized they could use Aura to break writer's block, to generate plot twists, to refine pacing. It became less like a replacement and more like an exoskeleton for the imagination.
That feels a lot less threatening. It's like having a really smart writing partner who never sleeps, has read every book in existence, and doesn't demand a share of the royalties.
It creates a powerful synergy. But looking forward, the experts believe we're just scratching the surface. This isn't just about writing better books. It's about changing the format of the book entirely. This is the future landscape.
What's coming next?
Predictive technology that goes beyond just assisting. We are talking about interactive stories. But more personally, we're looking at the potential for personalized novels.
Personalized how? Like, it uses my name, and then Dave walked into the room. Because that's cheesy.
No, much deeper than that. Imagine a novel custom-tailored to your specific psychological profile. Let's say the AI knows you have a fear of abandonment, or that you're particularly moved by stories of redemption between fathers and sons. It constructs a narrative specifically to push your buttons.
That is incredibly cool and also slightly terrifying. It's weaponized storytelling.
It is. And they also mention stories that change along with the reader. As you read, a device measures your biometric response. If your heart rate isn't going up during the thriller section, the AI rewrites the next chapter in real time to be scarier.
So if I'm getting bored, the book throws in an explosion.
Or if you're getting too stressed, it offers a moment of calm. It connects back to you, the listener. Imagine a book written specifically for you. Not for a market demographic, but for you.
That really changes the relationship between the reader and the book. But I have to play devil's advocate again here. If the machine can do all that, if it can write the perfect book for me and pace it perfectly and make me cry and adjust to my heart rate, what is left for us? What is the human piece of the pie? I mean, why do we need human authors at all?
This is the most crucial part of the deep dive. The Satisfy section of our analysis addresses this head-on. Despite all this progress, despite Zenith, there is a limitation. There is a ceiling.
What does the AI still lack?
Lived experience. We need to distinguish between data and memory. The source details a specific list of things humans possess that AI treats merely as data points. Pain, love, hope, failure.
Right. Aura knows the word pain, and it knows pain is often associated with tears and screaming, but it has never stubbed its toe.
Exactly. For Aura, failure is just a statistical association of words often found near sadness or regret. It has a definition, but no sensation. The distinction the expert analysis drives home is this. Humans live stories. AI processes words. For us, a story about failure resonates because we know that stinging feeling of failure in our gut. We know the heat of embarrassment.
So these are lived moments for us, but just vocabulary lists for the machine.
And that is why the argument stands that humans still shape the soul of the narrative. Even if the AI holds the pen, even if it generates the sentences, the meaning comes from the human. Either the human collaborating with the AI to guide it, or the human reader who imbues the text with significance.
That's a comforting thought. We provide the soul. The machine might be the architect, but we're the inhabitants.
Yes. We provide the context. Without human life to reference, the stories are just empty syntax. They only matter because they refer to the lives we lead. An AI can write about a sunset perfectly, but it has never felt the warmth of the sun on its face. And that disconnect matters.
So where does this leave us? We've gone from a machine writing a bestseller to a future of personalized biometric novels, but we're landing back on the importance of being human.
I think the core theme here, if we reflect on the entire Zenith phenomenon, is that this isn't a story about fear. It's about change. It's about evolution.
It's not the Terminator coming for our library cards.
No. Technology will evolve. Stories will evolve. The format of the book might change into something fluid and digital. But the conclusion is powerful. Storytelling is ultimately about connection.
Between minds and hearts.
Exactly. Whether the hand holding the pen is biological or digital, the goal is the same. To transfer a feeling, an idea, or a dream from one entity to another.
It's about the bridge, not who built it.
That is a beautiful way to put it.
Well, this has certainly given me a lot to think about next time I pick up a paperback. It's wild to think that the boundaries of creativity are expanding this fast. But before we go, I want to leave you listening right now, with something to chew on.
It's a provocative thought to end on.
We've established that Aura hasn't lived. It hasn't felt pain or joy. But let's say you read a book written by an AI, and let's say that book contains a piece of advice or a perspective that genuinely helps you. It gets you through a divorce, or helps you grieve, or changes your career. It saves you. Does it matter that the author never actually lived the advice they gave you?
Is wisdom only valid if it comes from experience? Or is wisdom valid simply because it works?
If the medicine cures you, does it matter who prescribed it? That's the question. Think about that the next time you get lost in a story.
Thank you for diving in with us.
Keep questioning.
And we'll see you next time.